Hello, everyone, and welcome out to The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky. I'm your host of the most, Nick Nitro, and before we get into tonight's awesome show, quick shout-out to those who make this show possible. First off, let's get the shit I do out of the way, a.k.a. the SID, the shit I do. First off, Ultimate Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or UTMNT. Go to utmnt.com to read the first 2 issues of UTMNT. Check them out. Again, utmnt.com. And another thing I do, which I hope you check out, and it won the award for Best Writing for fan adaptation, is the magically unauthorized misadventures of Rocky in Bullwinkle. So check that out. You can check that out by going to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, which are brand new, which is pretty freaking cool. We're slowly updating the rest of the site to get those links out there to everybody. Again, gbgpresentspod.com. Now, some other sponsors that help really make the show possible. Packrat Comics. These guys are not only awesome to us, they're awesome to their fans. If you're in the local Columbus, Ohio area, go to Old Hilliard, Ohio, a little subsection of Columbus, and go to Packrat Comics. Packrat Comics is a family-friendly store. The 2015 winner of the Best Retail Location. Packrat Comics has all your board games, comic books, graphic novels, t-shirts, role-playing games, collectible card games, and more. For more information, go to packratcomics.com and give them the old looky-loo. And you know what? If you go in, tell them that the Good, the Bad, and the Geeky podcast sent you. I don't know what that will do, but I think it'll be pretty cool. And they'll go, oh, hey, awesome. And also, Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky for an audiobook free and a 30-day trial. That 30-day trial opens up over 200,000 titles to choose from for your free book. And I mean audiobook by that. And, look, Audible is a great way if you don't have time to actually read the books, or say maybe you are a hardcover guy like myself. Not a big fan of the paperback, but it's either the hardback or the audiobook. Well, you know what? Audible is a great source for that. I just finished The Girl on the Train a week or two ago. It's a really good book. And because I listen to all my podcasts and my audiobooks because they're kind of the same thing to me, in my car when I'm driving, and it is so much fun to be part of a great, awesome community over at Audible. So audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky. And the other nice thing is that little dough towards Audible, if you try to try the trial, so to speak, a little green goes our way and helps support our show. So again, audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky. And finally, we are part of the It's All Been Done Presents Network, or IBDP. Yeah, you know me. And speaking of the IBDP, great minds think alike. The same can be said for naughty minds, too. Have a penchant for the pervy, a liking for the lovin', feeling frisky on Fridays. Then dive face first into dirty story night. Every month, a new theme is picked for network members to write and perform their stories. And at the end is a winner. And that winner is chosen by the group. It's all been done anyway, so check out ibdpresents.com. All right, guys. On this awesome episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky, we proudly welcome out on the show Austin from Packrat Comics. Along for the ride is his good friend Anthony. I had such a blast talking to these fine gentlemen who are huge nerds and geeks. I had no idea where the conversation was going to go. And as I've said before, we inception, and just kept going. It was a lot of fun. It's also really cool that these two are working on a podcast of their own. And it's an anime video podcast, and the main channel, when they are ready, I believe, will be called Filler Fighters. And it will feature mostly video podcasts, but occasionally audio ones too. I'm really psyched for it. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to get him back on the show right when it launches, or maybe even not when it launches, because I really had so much fun. We spoke for over an hour and a half, and again, it was so much fun. It was a blast. And, because you always go into some things like this, like I recorded with Dallas a few episodes ago. I've never recorded a normal talking podcast episode with him. It's always been very scripted. So there was always on my end a little bit of nervousness of how will it go? And of course it was a lot of fun, but this one especially, because I know Dallas, I kind of know Austin, and I didn't know Anthony at all. And it was all over the place, but it was a lot of fun, and we covered so many great topics, and there has to be a but, because sometimes I like butts, but this is not a butt I like. Childish humor aside, what is a real bummer, though, is that we lost half the audio. And by that, I really mean, literally out of an hour and a half conversation, I lost everything past 48 minutes or so. So what you're going to hear is everything that we recorded up until we lost it, so to speak. So Austin and Anthony already know about it. It was such heartbreaking because we didn't get to really talk about anime, and we can't answer the last half of the Star Wars conversation we were having, which was a lot of fun as well. And again, we kept inceptioning the inception of the inception in terms of conversation points. And we found a way, really, because usually I feel like we leave some plot threads when I've done that before. We leave some threads open. We literally circled it back around, and it was a lot of fun. And if I didn't lose everything, I would have actually split this up into 2 episodes. So I apologize, but just please beware, it cuts off abruptly at the end, and that these guys are so awesome. So go to Packrat Comics to check them out. But stay tuned to the GBG podcast because we'll have them back on at some point. And stay tuned because they're going to have their own podcast here pretty soon. And that's pretty freaking cool. Okay, enough of me blabbing away. I proudly present to you The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky, episode 325, The Filler Fighters. Not working at all. Okay, we're started. I feel weird about saying that because it's unnatural. It's like Chris Hardwick. It's like just catching the natural thing. But we're started. I'm Nick. Everyone announced who they are going around the table.
Hey, I'm Austin. I'm Anthony Corbett.
And originally, and this is fine by the way, originally I was going to talk to Austin about working at Packrat and just anything he wanted to talk about. And then he has his pal here. We're always just going to talk about anything and everything.
I've basically worked at Packrat. I have before. I've done the POS system before. It's not that hard. It really isn't.
He's a member of the family. Packrat family.
Well, that's the thing is...
Don't have a shirt yet.
That's the... Oh, man, you got to get a shirt.
No,
come on.
Don't give me one.
No, and I love the shirt that Austin's wearing, by the way. The Packrat, yeah. That was the last one for Halloween Comic Fest, yeah. You get such awesome shirts here. But no, it really is a family, which is pretty great. I really love that aspect of it too, and they treat the community like a family. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not ass kissing Jamie and Teresa, but it is very true. I don't say that in jest. I'm very sincere. That was a kiss ass comment, and no, but they really do. They do such a great job, and I said this to them before when I had them on. I was like, your comic shop is the first comic shop my wife didn't wanted to come into, and she felt like comfortable talking to people, because the old trope of people just, if you're a female persuasion, usually they start staring at you. It tends to be kind of rather true. I hate to say that, but it is true. And she's just like, yeah, I actually don't mind coming in sometimes. And she came in a few times without me, which I thought was... It's like, that's not fair. Why can't I go to Packrat?
Why did you invite me?
Yeah. Very welcoming, very accepting.
No,
they care about all their customers, and they even wonder where they're at if they don't see them in a while. That's really a family.
No, right, and that's so awesome. Okay, but one of the things I really wanted, I talked to them about was like, what was your comic book story? Like, how did you get into comics? Now, it could be anything. Like, did you go watch TV show first and it's like, oh, it's based on a comic book?
It was just one thing after another, but I would say if it started somewhere, it would start with TV shows when I was a kid.
Okay.
It was the
like
Batman
what?
Animated, Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you go to Batman the Animated Series comics?
I didn't.
Then Batman? Or
no, it just got me interested in the universe, and
okay.
Batman comics were easy to jump into when I did explore comics, but it never was step by step like that.
Okay. All right. Do you have an issue that you still like? You might not have it anymore. That you're just like, oh, I wish I took better care of that. Like, that's my favorite issue. That kind of like it just kept things going. Like, I mean, let me put it this way: Jamie fucking remembers the issue of Thor. It's like, yeah, because I mean, he's just like, he didn't even hesitate to. He's like, it's Thor number 2 something. I was like, whoa, that's awesome. You remember that?
And that panel.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like, it's always just one of those things that you're just like, damn. So did you have a book like that, or it's just more just very broad?
For me, it's just the stories. Like, I read it, and like, that was a well-written story. And
no, yeah. Yeah, what about... I know you don't do comics too much.
My introduction, though, is 90s TV shows, like animated Spider-Man, Batman, all that stuff. That's really how I got into, like, comics. I'm not huge into, like, buying comics. Usually I'll support it through the movies and through the animated series, just because that's what I like better than my media. I'm dyslexic, so... harder for me to read. I am. How did they officially? Are you officially? I am fast. I'm sorry, not to derail about not comic books for a second, but I feel like I am too, but I've not officially until later in life. It's just really expensive as an adult to get those tests. Like, it's like 3,000 or something crazy like that, because I'm horrible with numbers. If you show me, like. It's, you know, my family, like, Ohio is big on sports. You know, the Buckeyes, just a skosh. But, like... I don't go to school there, so...
Yeah. Well, no, yeah. So, like but I remember the coaches' names usually, but I can't remember. If you look at the players, unless they keep saying the name a lot, I'm just like, their numbers, I don't...
That one guy?
Yeah, that one guy. And And then sometimes my mom still throws it out there, like, I will call her. I was like, hey, what time are you coming over, Nick? Oh, about 5 to 4. I do shit like that, and it's really hard for me to memorize stuff. And I skim when I read, which is, so I'm just fascinated by that. Did they diagnose you early? Or?
Yeah, so my father has dyslexia as well, and it's genetic. So I also was getting treated for a lot of, like, ADHD, ADD kind of stuff as well. So that's how they found it as well. They were looking for all these things, because I was a messed up child. Okay. A little bit. So that's really how it started, and then in grade school I had an IEP, I think is what it's called. Yep. Where,
my wife's a teacher, so and that's how I know. That's how I know about it. Yeah.
So that's how I was diagnosed, and I had to take, like, special classes. And then once I got to high school, it was pretty manageable after that. I still, like, do it. Like Austin will tell you, I'll mess up, like, numbers and letters and words all the time. Oh, it's pretty awful. They'll make fun of me for it. The funny story is. They didn't know I had dyslexia, so they would keep joking about it, and then I was like, I actually have dyslexia, you guys know. I'm actually dyslexic.
My one friend, before we were recording, he's actually one of the co-hosts of the show occasionally, Nathan. He's the surly friend. He says he's colorblind. His sisters and his mom say he's not. But then, like, he will go into great details, like your red hat looks grayish-green to me. What you would describe as grayish-green. I can't tell. I'm just used to what it... But we still don't know if he's full of shit or not. Yeah. But, like, no, that's a very real, like, it's... So, do you still have ADHD, or is that really, it was just as dyslexia?
It's mostly...
Because you don't get rid of ADHD, but, you know, sometimes they miscategorize things, that's why I was asking.
It was kind of like...
Did you get rid of your ADHD? Well, we'll tie back into that in a second.
A lot of comic book characters have these symptoms. People need to know.
They do. Well, but here's the thing with comics is that for someone with dyslexia, you can look at the pictures and absorb that faster.
It's definitely a lot easier.
And then go back into the words. And I sometimes I do like to read, but sometimes it is very much like I read a Michael Crichton book in Jurassic Park. No, it was Timeline. I read the whole fucking Timeline, and when I watched the movie, I was like, that shit didn't happen in the book, even though the movie's horrible. I was like, that didn't happen. And then someone's like, yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. I was like, what the fuck? So I went back and reread it, and I was like, would I fucking skim through this shit? Like, I must have skimmed through a lot. Like, but no, comics is fascinating to me because years later I was like, is that why I maybe gravitated towards comic books when I would read? Because if I have a chance, like, I'll read the books I got tonight while, you know, do I want to read, like, The Girl on the Train or whatever just to read it? Sure. But will I jump on it? No, not necessarily. Like, I have to really love the concept of the book to read it or something. So I'm fascinated with that. So that's why I was kind of tailing it back to the comics.
Yeah. One of the other things is, because I had, like, minor symptoms of ADD and ADHD, so it wasn't, like, a lot, but that's why also, because I was so antsy, and I was also brought into video games very early, so I was always very interactive with things, and like comics and books just all blended together, even though they had pictures. It was just kind of like, oh, it's a picture book, cool, but I like these characters because I got to play them in video games later. Yeah. But I just couldn't get in. Also, I'm very weird about buying into lore. Like, that's why like a lot of comics will do the thing where they stop and then go and like...
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Going, getting all the back
one,
history is the
new
hard
number,
part for me.
yeah. I go with that. Well, that's why sometimes, and they'll never will, especially since they're now owned by DC or Warner Brothers and Disney. They'll never stop, which is sad. But there's sometimes it's like it's okay to end things, like, but they never. I don't think they will, which is sad. But sometimes
Except for X-Men, they'll end those.
They ended Fantastic Four. That's very much true. For those who don't know in the audience, I've hopefully talked about many times because it irks the shit out of me. Because, well, kind of and kind of doesn't. It just I get more pissed at Fox. Fox owns the rights to Fantastic Four and X-Men. Disney now owns Marvel, and they're just like
just the cinematic universe.
Cinematic universe, yeah. Sorry, to be clear. Thank you. And they're just like, oh, well, we don't want to. And they also own the ancillary rights and profits from the toys of the movie. And so they're like, oh, well, Disney's like, well, you can't do toys because there's no books that are going to help you sell the toys. And so, yeah, and I read that Fantastic Four run because I got into the Jonathan Hickman one, and it was good. And so I was like, I'll keep reading Fantastic Four, and it was okay. But then when they were like, oh, no, this is the last Fantastic Four story, and I read it, I was like, this is good story, but this is fucking bullshit. Come on, Disney. And then I was like, no, it's not Disney's fault. It's Fox for not. Look, Sony can play ball. Give us Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe. Give us, but
that was a hard-fought deal, though.
It was for years. Well, yeah. Well, for all we really know is that Spider-Man shows up in Captain America: Civil War. But really, it was just like, well, Kevin Feige, who runs the Marvel Cinematic Universe, actually worked on and produced, I think, Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2.
The good ones.
The good ones.
The ones that existed, really.
Yeah. You know what? That third movie is the first fucking time I ever... And after the first... After Matrix 2 and 3 made me realize I do not need to complete a set. I refuse.
You haven't bought
I refuse. No, well,
so
my one best man bought me 3 as a gag gift for Christmas because he's like, I know you hate it.
No, for my birthday, someone bought me the Spider-Man 3 soundtrack. It had all the emo music on it.
Oh yeah. Okay,
because anyone in the audience, Austin's emo.
I would have never guessed that. Super. No. Okay. Now here's the thing that pisses me off. Right. Okay. Which kind of ties into the soundtrack. It's emo pop, but I love Coconut Records. I like Jason Schwartzman. He used to be Phantom Planet, which is like alternative pop. For those in the audience, they did California from what's that one TV? Oh, The OC. That's what people remember from. But they. So, but Coconut Records is just Jason Schwartzman doing whatever the fuck he wants. And so he did a song in there with Kirsten Dunst called Summer Day. And does she have a powerhouse voice? No, it's very measly, like, it's a summer day. Well, it's on the soundtrack of Spider-Man 3. What does Spider-Man 3 open up with? A fucking Broadway musical number with Kirsten Dunst's characters MJ singing to the stands, and you can tell, it is fucking dubbed over with someone that sounds nothing even closely remote to her. And I'm just going, well, that took me out of the movie, completely out of the movie, and that's when you knew the movie was bad. Well, actually, no, the theme was pretty bad, because you can tell Danny Elfman was not, like, the theme just completely changes midway through the theme, and you're like, what the? It doesn't even sound cohesive.
So bad.
Like it just irks the shit out of me. I was like, oh no, you know what? It's okay. We got the rest of the movie, and then it just kept going. And then Peter, like, look, I'm fine with emo Peter, except for because thematically, it's the same exact scene in Spider-Man 2 that Raimi did, where it's just the opposite. It's just different, which I get. I was like, oh, I see what you did there. Thematically different from Spider-Man 2. But then he beats MJ, and I'm like, Peter would never do that. And if he did, it'd be he would kill himself.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right, that irked me. Anyway.
Yeah, that was weird.
Okay. Let's move away from Spider-Man 3.
Let's go to X-Men 3.
Let's go to Oh, Jesus Christ.
The better of the two.
The better of the two.
Not really.
No.
Well, okay, how about this?
Okay.
Here's a good question.
Yeah.
You want Fox to stop being assholes. Do you think long term it's better for fans if this is all owned by the same person? That's
not necessarily owned. Look, Fox can still do the rights, but here's the thing. I think, honestly, Kevin Feige, he's a fan, and he actually worked at he worked his way up through Marvel, producing and all that, and he's a fan of the stuff. Now, you could say that they have a very all the movies are the same, and I kind of agree with that critique. Guardians is the first one I think that kind of broke the mold, and there are hints of the Guardians, what they get in Guardians, kind of seeping through to Civil War. Like, I remember Iron Man 3. It just thought was so strange to me. Now, see, I liked Iron Man 3.
It wasn't, in my opinion, it wasn't great, but it was fine because you get a lot of people don't like how. He wasn't very Tony Stark because he was depressed, but I was like, that shows character development, and also, but he still makes his quippy jokes.
I like the movie.
He still makes quippy jokes.
I like
Iron Man 2 though.
A liar. No, Iron Man 2. Now, see, that to me is an example of we're just trying to. It's a tie-in to it. It's like Rogue One, but Rogue One was better. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well. Like there's a bunch of plot threads that are just kind of wandering around everywhere, and they never fucking go anywhere with it. But like the soundtrack of Guardians, like that was a huge part of Guardians. Oh. And like I remember Iron Man 3, they started playing Blue, like the song Blue, and I was like, they don't play music like that in the Marvel movie. And then Guardians, it's like all over the soundtrack. And now there's like Captain America, Civil War, they had like a pop song. And I'm like,
in Avengers, they had the whole they had lots of bands do songs for it that weren't even in the actual thing.
Yeah, that was Age of Ultron, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just going like, okay.
No, it wasn't Ultron.
It was the first one? Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay. But so I think that, now granted, I don't like that everyone owns just one thing, because, I don't know, like...
It gives us cool stuff. It gives us cool continuity.
It does.
But...
Right.
The main thing, I think, is they just don't have, like, a good person directing and, like, heading up their comic departments, because, like, their Fantastic Four movies suck. The first one was the best movie, and it wasn't great.
Well, it comes down to, you need someone writing the ship. And, like, with Marvel right now, you have, for good or for bad, Kevin Feige. And kind of he's doing, like, look, what we do works, let's keep doing what works. And that's fine.
Don't break it.
But Fox necessarily, like...
So, just because you have something... Just because you have someone spearheading it that is doing a good job doesn't mean it's going to last.
That's very much true.
DC Comics, where Jeff Johns has his hand in everything, and some people don't like that he has his hand in everything. He has some really good stories. I love his Teen Titans run. But,
okay.
But
so
I mean...
Let's look into that for a second.
Diversity's great.
Because I have a problem with DC. And matter of fact, Teresa got me into the Court of Owls, Capullo and Snyder.
Yep.
And I actually need to finish that at some point and buy the other sets for you guys. But I got into it. Like, I love Batman. I grew up watching the animated series, like, and those are great.
Red Hood's the shit.
What's that?
Red Hood's the shit.
I like Red Hood. I love Batman. But I just marvel, and I do like Jeff Johns' stories. Like, I read... one of the free comic book days was, I think, Superman Man of Steel, where I think his kid or something was buried underneath the vault or whatever. Like, that was the tease. Yeah. I got the next few issues. It was really great. But I sometimes hear his schedule. It's almost like a George Lucas schedule, which is... First off, the books that you write, where are you fucking finding time for this? Because it's like literally going like... So we're in the comic shop right now as we record this. We're near the front desk. It's like, over here is the Justice League movie department. I'm going to walk over there to the new comic book section. I'm going to talk to the artist for these other projects I'm managing, and I'm going to walk over there and do that. Like, that's his entire day. He barely has any time to, like, they think of his comic book resources. They just want a day of Jeff Johns. I'm like, how the fuck does he write anything, and how does he have the time to make any really good decisions? Now, Kevin Feige,
name's on every book, though.
I understand that, and that's
he must do that.
That's true.
That's true. He should just be like a producer. Like, I have the big identity of this, and someone else is going to fill in the blanks.
That's what he'll be, though. They have him on the movies and the TV shows finally, like, consistently. That's what he'll be. He'll be a producer.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I've not enjoyed their movies so far,
great.
And the only one I've been super looking forward to is Wonder Woman, and it came out yesterday that someone saw a full cut of the movie and said it's actually worse than Man of Steel or Batman versus Superman. I was like, how can it be worse? And that scares me.
It's at least not worse than Suicide Squad. That's the important thing. That's a valid point. I think that's the bottom of the barrel.
But here's the thing I'll take for that. I kind of relate Suicide Squad to a Transformers movie, which is it's, you know what, the whole time I was like, you know what, this is not a bad way to spend $10 and some popcorn. And at no point, like, if you actually point at... The only thing that bothered me was, like, why would the fucking Joker put up all those fucking knives? He is not that fucking quirky for a beautiful-looking shot. I was just going, like, I want to do a cool looking shot. I'm going to throw some knives everywhere, and the Joker will look fucking cool. And at no point does he sit there and go, "Would the Joker do it though? Really?" Like, because at that point, that screams, "I might kill you with one of these knives. Don't act up." The Joker would just be like, "Hello, boys. Let's have a laugh. Who wants Chinese?" and then kill you. And
that was good. That was
no,
good.
thank you. That's as far as I go. I love Hamill. I cannot. I literally just I can do little bits of "What's wrong, Batman? Have a bat in the belfry?" and I lose it at the laugh. I can't. I wish I could do it. He's such a hard voice to do.
I love it.
Oh man, have you heard his Trump tweets?
Yes.
So great. I love them. I was like, well,
someone animated it. A fan animated it, and they sat the Joker down. It's just like a black background, and it's like the original Mark Hamill Joker.
Yeah,
it's fan animated. He's put it with the audio, and it just looks awesome.
Oh my
cool.
God,
he's just sitting there talking, but like seeing the face, move, it just makes it better.
Yeah. But Suicide Squad, though, I went in going like, okay, I'm not expecting Shakespeare like from Man of Steel or Batman vs Superman. And Batman vs Superman, it was just little tiny story choices that just blew me away. But I shit on DC a lot, and I really don't like doing that because I want them to be better than Marvel.
We want them to succeed at least.
Yeah, because I want more. You know what? Batman. I will say Affleck was a great Batman in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
And I think people shat all over him for no fucking. Well, they did the same thing with Heath
Batman
Ledger.
to date.
So you know what? I will go with that.
I probably agree
he is my favorite Batman, and like
I
a
agree
lot of
with
people
that.
have been like, "You're just wrong," and I'm like, "Well, he is." Like, I understand what they're doing. Like, that is. You don't have to like Frank Miller, but like that was Dark Knight Returns. Like that was Dark Knight Returns, and it was so cool to see it panel for panel and see his Batman.
Like that one
scenes.
shot where it's the cover of the trade paperback of him jumping from the moon. That was a great fucking shot, and to see them do that. And so again, Snyder visually had the movie was great, but there are little things that was like, if you just added 5 more scenes to that movie, I don't care if it was fucking 2-3 hours longer, it would have made way more sense, because at that point you're not expecting Suicide Squad. You're expecting like Man of Steel at the end of the day was a very well told movie.
I like Man of Steel.
I actually walked out of that movie pleasantly surprised, because I'm not a huge Superman fan. When I walked in that movie, I was like, I didn't even want to come here that night.
Right?
Yeah,
like good. What was it? Superman and Captain America are those two characters that they are just so goody that the movies to me help me love them. And I'm just like I'm watching Man of Steel or Superman versus Batman. I was like, I do not like you, bro.
Yeah.
I kind of fucking like Batman has every reason to fucking go after you. Like, he is actually the more developed character here, and this is your sequel technically. Like, this is technically his first movie. What the fuck? I just anyway. But
which my main gripe about it is just that it's like 2 stories in one. I think it should have just
3.
been... Yeah, 3 really. Like there were too many additive scenes that really should have just been either they fight a little bit in the beginning and then it's Doomsday, or it's just them fighting the entire movie and Doomsday doesn't have a thing.
Actually, well, that's the other thing too. Like Lex Luthor, I didn't have a problem with Eisenberg. Now that's a lot of people hate Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. My problem was like, I actually thought it was a neat way to approach the character, but what's his fucking motivation? Like,
they cut it out. Like, all his motivation for doing stuff is really cut out.
Was it really officially? Because I saw the one clip that got cut where it shows him, the guy who... Oh, shit. It's their DC's version of Thanos. Or let me rephrase it.
It's
their Darkseid.
It's not Darkseid. It's
well, it's one of his dudes.
Wolf and something?
Yeah. He walks into him on the ship and he teleports out. And I was just like, okay... That's a cool scene.
It gives you the mother boxes and gives you some perspective of how he knows how to do certain things and how to make Doomsday. And,
that part was fine. I'm talking about just why is he mad at Superman or any of the supers? They don't discuss that at all.
He just has a weird human versus God complex, I guess.
Well, but does he think his dad is God? But see, that's what I'm saying. They hint at that. My dad slapped me around in this room. This is my father's room. I kept it exactly immaculate. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good payoff, and then it never does anything. I'm like, okay. It's so he got slapped by his daddy, and now he hates Superman? That's kind of how it reads. That's me. But I loved his performance, though. So I just wish they had more. And also, I think they did cut this stuff out where he actually was enjoying being Superman, And that's my other complaint, because I have no complaint with Henry Cavill.
No.
I think he's
Great.
actually good. The problem is, it's like Superman enjoys saving people. Like, he enjoys being good. And if you watch Batman vs. Superman, he's emo Peter Parker.
Did you see the Supergirl rendition of Superman?
Oh, no. I see. That's what I'm saying. DC is doing TV right.
TV is right for them. Though Marvel has like the Netflix kind of thing going, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the TV still for DC is just phenomenally better.
Did you guys see Ghost Rider this year on Marvel or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I have not watched that
watched
show
Agents
even
of
once. Not even once.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. If I'm not gonna lie, in retrospect, if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now, unless you get to the Ghost Rider stuff, it's okay. It's not great. It's just like Coulson. Coulson's awesome. I like Coulson. But if you were watching it as it was airing with Winter Soldier, that was some great shit, because the whole time you're like, S.H.I.E.L.D. is good, S.H.I.E.L.D. is good, and literally the week that Winter Soldier opened, it ended with a clip from Winter Soldier where Coulson's like, I am so tired of being passed around by Nick Fury. Every time I want to talk to Nick Fury, he fucking, says I'm doing whatever else. What's so important that Nick Fury's doing? It shows him in the car in Winter Soldier right before he gets blown up by
wow.
right, because you remember he's trying to talk to somebody on the phone.
Yeah.
He's like, let me get a hold of this person, and all of a sudden Winter Soldier blows him up, and that's how it ends. And it goes,
Ooh.
and now for the continuation of this, watch Winter Soldier.
That's so cool.
And then
Pretty
the
cool.
next week,
Yeah.
Ward is the bad guy. And you're like, what? He's a Hydra agent? So we've been watching Hydra this whole... Yeah, and then you're just a boom. If you watch it now, you're like, well, you get the same response? Probably not.
Yeah.
But they did Ghost Rider surprisingly well. They did the new one, too, the
They
race
get Nick
car
Cage
driver.
back? Is that what happened?
What's-
Is that how they made
No. Oh, that would have been... Now, see, well, here's the thing. They leave it possibly vague, which is you see his flashback of how he became Ghost Rider, which is you see this figure walk up, and all of a sudden... you see the flame kind of away from that, and then he passes it on to Richie, and he's like that's the Good Samaritan, and I'm like, that's fucking Johnny Blaze. It could be Nick Cage if they could afford it, but apparently the effects were way too expensive. So Ghost Rider's gone for this season. We're gonna focus on the LMDs. Okay, so but.
They'll eventually bring in... Do they have Inhumans on there now, or...
Well, yeah, Daisy Quake is an Inhuman.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the thing. That's their New Mutants.
Basically, yeah.
which
That's what the whole cinematic universe is also leading up to, I think, to be the second part after Thanos, is Inhumans will now arrive. That'll be the new thing.
Right. Well,
They're
I
just
like
hurting their X-Men franchise, though.
I agree. But that's why I'm just like, Fox needs to play ball. That's why it leads down to like you're making Marvel do stupid shit that they shouldn't be doing, kind of with that stuff, and
It's hard. It's hard to pick sides on that because, like,
it is.
we don't want, like, I know that long term I would probably find a lot of things to complain about with Marvel owning all of these things.
Oh yeah.
Or the cinematic rights.
Oh well, I'm a Ninja Turtle nut too. But I'm just like Paramount. They sometimes do the weirdest stuff with the Turtle franchise, and I'm like, well, actually, the movies are a good example. I have no idea why they. Well, I know why. Michael Bay means money, and I know that's why they did that. But I'm like, I can't even approach that first movie as a Suicide Squad kind of vibe, where like there's so many plot holes, like it hurts my brain. It's not even the Transformers level where they. But now the second one was. I was like, oh, they're doing the '80s cartoon, and they're doing a good job of it. I like the second one. Like at Bebop, Rocksteady, they threw Casey Jones in there, which is like, that's Mirage, but okay.
I like the actor for him because he's Arrow.
Oh yeah, shit, what's his name? Stephen Harfell.
Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell. Yeah. He's fucking boss.
Oh, yeah,
and
he's pretty cool.
And even Megan Fox was okay in the second one.
She's Megan Fox.
She acted like she's Megan Fox.
She's Salzman.
She's good on New Girl. Surprisingly, she can show she can kind of act on New Girl. I mean, she's still the sexy girl, but in New Girl, it feels weird saying New Girl, sexy girl. I mean, I like Zooey Deschanel. I think she's hot, but she's not Megan Fox hot.
No.
Sorry, Zoe. Call me later. I'm sorry for that. That was so bad. But so, what other comics do you read now? Like, have you matured past from the superhero, the capes, as if it were?
I dove into like all the great superhero stories that people told me to read when I started working here.
Yeah.
So, because like to get back to like the earlier question, when I was growing up, no one bought me comic books. I never went to a comic book store. I watched the TV shows, played the video games, played card games. But got really into it in like middle school and high school, and when I started working here a few years ago, I dove into all the great stories. But now I'm at the point where I found what I like. I know what genre I like. I know what kind of writing I like, and now I'm mostly reading independent stories.
See, well, okay, so what's that?
Not superhero books.
What's that?
Image Comics.
But yeah, does Dark Horse still do some stuff too?
Yeah. They did a Witcher spinoff, right? I think it was them.
So they do a lot of video game titles, but they also did Black Hammer by Jeff Lemire, which I like, and they did Fear Agent, which is what's on my arm by Rick Remender.
Okay. Oh, I like Remender.
Yeah.
Yeah, he created Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Brought Bucky back. Yeah. He isn't he doing a crime? Is that what you're talking? Isn't he doing a crime comic too, or is that just Hickman? I think I thought it's through Image, because I follow him on Twitter and they kind of plug stuff here and there. Or
I don't know if Remender's doing a crime book right now. I know he's doing a fantasy book.
Is he doing? Is that what it is?
Yeah, 7 to Eternity.
Okay. Oh, well, that's the great thing about some of the independent books is that, which I admittedly suck at. I do. There was a great indie book. I think it was done through Image called. I'm going to feel really stupid doing this. I think Alex and Ada. And that blew me away. Like, my one friend got it in his comic bento box, whatever. And I was like, really? He's like, it's phenomenal. You need to read it. And I was like, okay. And I read it. I was like, damn, this is really fucking good.
It actually has a really good following, and I haven't checked it out yet. But I know what it is. I know exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. No, it's a really good. And so, like, and I always get surprised. I don't even know why I get surprised by that. Like, I think Something Bastards is a book that Jamie was telling me about.
Southern Bastards by Jason Aaron.
Have you read that, any? Or
yes.
Is it good?
It's amazing.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of want to read that, but I have to. And actually, I remember I went home after we talked about that, and there's like 4 or 5 graphic novels for it already, collected books of it. So it's just a matter of jumping in and then keeping up with it. But so what other books that you read now? Then they're all independent. But what
a lot of the independent ones that I'm reading are. So I actually haven't read the second issue yet, but I really enjoyed the first issue of the dual book by Jeff Lemire and Scott Snyder called 80 After Death. It's that big one up there in the blue.
Yeah. Okay.
It's kind of like a novel, but it has pictures with it. There are times where it breaks into panels, but sometimes it feels like a picture book with like a big blurb, like a big article at the top.
Okay.
But I really enjoy it. It's you have to really sit down and take it in.
Right.
The first issue was great. I'm reading that. I'm reading Snot Girl by Brian O'Malley.
How is that?
It is great. I like to.
I didn't know that was by O'Malley of all things.
Yeah, it is about a fashion blogger who gets herself into like this weird mystery mess of like,
Snot.
Yeah, and she's
So
just
what's
so
okay? When I hear snot, I think of something. For those who are like me, what is the Snot Girl? Is it officially Snot?
Okay, so her name is Snot Girl because pretty much her aesthetic is like a beautiful fashion blogger. She has green hair, but
Looks like
her little secret is that she has really bad allergies, and when her medication wears off, she's a snotty mess. So
okay, that's what it meant. What I thought it meant. Okay, but every time you see, like right now, I'm looking at a cover and it's just these 2 hot girls kind of hugging each other.
Yeah,
and I've seen other covers for Snot Girl, and it looks somewhat similar. You don't see, there's not snot everywhere. I'm like, okay,
Lots of girl with glasses with things running out of her nose.
It's an independent book, so I'm like, oh, how are they cleverly? Does she have like a snotty feeling on life, or what's you don't know? Like she has
What is
green
the
hair.
artistic view of this?
Well, you have to sometimes,
Yeah.
It's almost like all films in the 90s. Like Kevin Smith talked about this with Clerks. He's like, the original name of Clerks, he's like, well, originally I killed Dante because that's what you do. You kill your lead. And you're like, and if you watch the scene, like it makes sense. And you're just like, oh, that's a horrible ending.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you just look at it like, is it into comic book? Is it trying to do something? Because that's the best thing too, is that you can do unique stuff like that. Like you can kill a character in the first few pages that looks like the lead. Or whatever.
Yeah. This one's just like pretty forward.
Yeah.
This one's pretty forward. It's a lot of fun because she has so much internal monologue that's just rampant and ridiculous because she just rambles and rambles and rambles, like kind of like how a fashion blogger you would expect them to talk.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's definitely like over the top.
Have you read 01? I think it's 01 Seconds by O'Malley.
No, I haven't.
I have the book because I love Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
And then I never read it. Like I still haven't. Every once in a while, like I'm like getting something. I'm like I really need to read that book because I bought it like right when it came out, and I still haven't. Horrible. So because I like O'Malley, like I've bought all the color versions and the black and white versions of Scott Pilgrim because they're just so good.
Yeah.
So now is it in color too? Or is it black and
It's
white?
in color.
Nice. Okay.
It's really good. It's on issue 5. There should be a trade paperback probably by next month.
Okay. Cool. Because I really want to. Snot Girl does sound really, really interesting. I'm gonna have to. I'm trying to see. This is the sad thing too. As you get older, your budget goes up and down. So it's just like I have to cut down on titles, but I want to keep adding titles. So. So Snot Girl. What? And the one by Snyder. What else?
I'm reading Monstrous, which it's pretty popular.
I've heard of that. What is it?
Monstrous. It is. I can't remember who writes it, but it's an image book. It's phenomenal world building. It's about there's arcane mystics and animal people. Yeah, a lot of animal people, but it's very dark and mature.
I was giving it so you could read the author, but that's fine. Or the writer.
Liu and Takeda. Oh my goodness.
But
the story so far.
The world building is just insane in this. That's my favorite part. Everything seems like it fits it in a certain place, you know.
Oh my gosh! And the artwork is absolutely gorgeous.
It is
and
very. I don't know if you would want to say Japanese inspired.
No, I would totally say that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a very beautiful artwork, and there's a drawing of a cute anime cat thing.
Yeah.
Well, a god probably. Cats, children of Ubatsi.
Lots of tails.
Yeah.
7 to Eternity. I'm reading that. That's the new Rick Remender book. It's about family and what he'll compromise for his what values he'll compromise to gain a better.
Like a hitman kind of thing? Or?
Kind of. It's a completely fantasy-related book, so
thank you, sir.
There's a lot of magic in it.
Ooh.
Magic!
It's
Reborn by Mark Millar. I'm reading that. And Greg Capullo.
God, I hate when you say Reborn.
Okay, wait. That's, Kick-Ass Mark Millar.
Yeah.
What is it again?
Reborn. So, the first issue...
Your whole job the rest of the evening is just picking up books and bringing them over to us. I feel kind of bad.
It's second row. So, Reborn... Actually, I had no idea what it was about when I read the first issue, and I was very, very happy, very surprised.
Does it take place in Miller World Universe where Kick-Ass exists or whatever? Or
no, well, not that I know of.
No. Okay, cool.
I'm 3 issues in, and
it's in a land far, far away.
So, pretty much the first issue is just
yeah, this is awesome.
I don't know. I don't want to give it away for anyone who hasn't read the first.
No,
issue.
yeah, please don't. But I will just say that he is correct. That it's very. World far, far away, and I would say it's a little bit of everything. It's Star Wars. There's dragons. It looks like there are guns.
I can tell people the main concept. It's pretty much just what happens when you pass away. That's what the book is about.
I'm gonna be honest. I just took a stab in the dark at that. I didn't know what it was about, but that actually sounds really interesting.
Yeah, and it's you said Capullo, which he is phenomenal.
He's great.
I really and that's awesome about Miller because every time I hear him talk, because I got into him through Kick-Ass, and then I read Nemesis, which that ending blew me away. I was just like, oh shit. But he kind of talks that all his stuff always kind of ties together. It's like the Pixar United theory, they all kind of. So that's why I was asking about
possible.
that.
We're too early to really know.
Maybe when his Kick-Ass characters die, they go there. They just haven't died yet.
That's crazy. That's a good. Look at you.
Oh, here's a good one. I'm also reading Lake of Fire for fourth row. This one's great. Fourth row, Lake of Fire.
Oh, I see it. It's right in. Yeah.
Nope.
Well, that's
that is one of them. That's good. So Lake of Fire is the Catholic Crusades, but imagine they ran into aliens during the Crusades.
But not cowboys and aliens, hopefully.
No, just aliens.
Okay, can I tell you a story about...
So they're on these missions, and people start dying, and it's disappearing, and they find out it's aliens, and it's amazing.
Not to go into it, but let me tell you something about cowboys and aliens. I did a
Get
webcomic
him
back
on
in
all
the
these
day.
tangents.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Well, but that's the beauty of podcasting. I did a webcomic, and we used to go to MegaCon in Florida, and there was a whole group of us. We ran out 2 tables. And I remember the first year I went to MegaCon, drunkduck.com was the webcomic, whatever. We were all part of that group. That's how we all met. And they just got bought by Platinum Studios, which, ooh, yeah, he knows.
That's cool.
Yeah. But Platinum Studios also, it's kind of like Mr. Trump. He has a lot of bad business deals, all kind of stuff. It goes out, bankruptcies. But the big thing they were pushing since they bought Drunk Duck, and they were pushing it on the Drunk Duck users and pushing it on the artists, was Cowboys and Aliens. And to the point where when we showed up, as long as we promoted Drunk Duck, we were there, we got a free graphic novel. And it was a shitty book. The shitty goddamn book. The movie is phenomenal compared to that fucking book.
And the movie wasn't great.
It is not
It was
great.
not great.
It was not great.
I was like,
So-
damn, Craig, very good actor.
I was really excited for that movie.
You were very excited.
Dude, it's the first time I saw Harrison Ford and was like, I don't want to cry because you're actually good in a movie again. Because he was the best part of that whole goddamn movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, because look, there's a time where, actually, I can tell you, is that movie he made with his now wife, Anne Hesh. God love him. But 6 Days and 7 Nights, his whole, I don't know, he's just got a vibe of like, I don't know, I just don't really like doing this, I just do it. Like, he wasn't really acting, I felt like. And ever since then, all his movies sucked. Then he did Cowboys vs. Aliens. I was like, Harrison Ford's kind of coming back. Like, all right. And then he did some other movie with J.J. Abrams produced, Morning Glory. He played the news reporter. Really fucking good in that. Then we have Han Solo. And
Maybe we'll get an Indiana Jones 4.
see what you did there.
Yeah.
See what you did there. Yes. Hopefully we will.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. But, no, that's...
Just put Chris Pratt in it, though. I mean,
Really?
he's just so good. He's just good in everything.
Okay, as long as you put him in there with Harrison
Oh,
Ford.
yeah. But
Okay.
Harrison Ford has
gotta
to
pass
be
the
like
torch.
his dad. Like his
Yeah.
actual dad. 'Cause
Oh, so you're
let's
saying...
be honest.
Yeah,
He hasn't
okay.
had a child yet. We
That
just saw
is
him.
true.
We just saw
That's
him
true.
kind of get married in some way, but that was
This
it.
is his real son.
Yeah.
The real son that, if he did have another movie and a son in that one, that this would be the real one to counteract that. But
This is when he grows up.
oh yeah, I know. I just kind of I still kind of wish Han Solo was kicking it, old school. But that's I know.
I'm totally fine with him. Kick in the bucket. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler alert. A movie was out 2 years ago. Fucking Han Solo died. Well, Princess Leia is going to be sadly. That broke my
That's
heart.
a conversation.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's a conversation.
No, like
Okay, so as the character,
yeah.
I already assumed for a while now that they were going to kill that character in this upcoming movie. So I'm pretty sure. I don't have any sources on this.
As he said, he looked right in the mic like, I'm being serious.
But I'm pretty sure they probably filmed her death scene already. But I could be wrong. They might not have been planning to kill her in this
Well,
movie.
the way they were talking is that, officially, like, how do we finish the third movie without her? Because it was all gearing up to Leia, kind of like it was Luke versus Vader. It really was possibly Rey and Leia versus Ben. And about what you've done and bringing him back to the light, and I'm just and he's like, now there's no Leia to do that. It's kind of very open, and that's why they had that big meeting. Do we CGI her or not? And people just were like, no, don't do what you did to Tarkin. That's kind of okay. Don't do that to Princess Leia. Yeah, which I was like, kind of they already did, but she officially confirmed that one, and I think she helped out with it. But oh man,
I really think if she was supposed to be a bigger character, they just need to rewrite it. In my personal
well,
opinion.
she'll probably die off screen, or
which is
something.
fine. Or
Yeah.
just say she retires and she just became so she couldn't take it anymore and she had to just go away, something like that. I don't know.
And then her mom died a day
I
later.
hope that if it does dramatically change the story, that I get to know what they were going.
You'll never know.
I think
I don't think you'll ever know.
I
In an
hope they
interview,
will,
you don't
but-
think they'll
you'll
tell
ever know.
us?
I think J.J. Abrams might say something because he's J.J. Abrams, but he's not officially hardcore involved too much anymore.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those guys how do you think we're doing over here? And he's like, oh, you're doing great. Maybe do this and this, and then he walks away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he's
asking stuff.
Jeff Johns. He has his name on everything.
Kinda, yeah.
I don't know if he'll have his name.
They put J.J. Abrams' name on it just be...
Well, yeah, I don't think he'll have his name on this one.
I listened to him on Nerdist, and they were talking about Star Wars and something. He's like, look, because I didn't know he produced Westworld on HBO.
Yep.
I had no idea he did that. But he's like,
Ed Brubaker too.
I was really working on Star Wars, and then all my time was also on Westworld. And there's this other show, I really don't want to say what it is, and I found out later, he's talking about Person of Interest. He's like... I was so focused on this other stuff, I dropped the ball on protecting that show and making sure the stories were great, but I wasn't doing interference with the networks and the people involved getting the show out there, and now it's canceled. And I'm just going like, oh shit! And that was a great show, but I was like, you kind of think of him. See, Spielberg does all that shit though. Like he was on, what's that one TV show? It was the Alien show. Something Skies, First Sky. Yeah. But he was doing shit on the set, and he's like watching dailies of stuff. Like he did that back in the day with Animaniacs. It still blows their minds. Like he's in Germany right now shooting Schindler's List. He's watching dailies of Animaniacs right now. He loves everything except for maybe more Pinky and the Brain. And you're just like, what? That's so cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but so maybe Abrams is doing that because Abrams is our Spielberg in a way.
Kind of, yeah. I just feel like they made such a big poll to be like, he's not going to be attached a lot to this, and like we're gonna have these other guys who are gonna do stuff too, and kind of like diversify it.
Well, go ahead.
What was it? That reminds me, the same guy that what was it? The guy that did the Suicide Squad movie is doing the Justice League movie. David, what's his name?
David Ayers.
Yeah, he's doing.
Is he doing Justice League? I thought that was Snyder.
Maybe he's doing the Suicide
Snyder?
Squad sequel.
I know Snyder's not doing Justice League. I don't think. I think he's just producing.
Point
it,
is,
but I don't know.
They brought the guy back from the Suicide Squad movie.
Which, in a lot of ways, after you hear of all the trouble they had with that, editing-wise, with the final cut of the movie, that makes me kind of happy. Because usually when that stuff happens, like Gareth Edwards, some of the stuff that went on with Rogue One, it's kind of interesting to hear. Like he's getting credited with the success of the movie, but it's like they brought a second director in who was the first AD to do all the reshoots.
Yeah.
And I'm going like, okay, that's interesting. I mean, here's the thing. I like Gareth Edwards. I loved his Godzilla. There's some major story problems with it, but it looked beautiful. And Rogue One looked beautiful, but story-wise, I don't... Yeah.
Are you ready to completely derail?
Of course.
Rank your Star Wars movies.
Oh, okay. You know what? Let me piss all of you off and all the people in the audience off. My number 1 is Return of the Jedi. Number 2 is Empire. Number 3
That's
is...
pissed me off, by the way.
4. Okay. Everyone... Star Wars is one of those things that's like, Empire's always won. If you don't like it, you're wrong. And I'm like, okay.
We'll get to this.
Oh, he's gearing up. He's gearing up.
Because I also have a different opinion that most people don't like.
And then I would say backwards. Oh, shit, I forgot episode 7. Okay, hold on. Let me start over again.
All right,
so
best to worst.
6 Empire. I'm going to say 7, 4, 3, 2... Oh, fucking Rogue One. Let's not count Rogue One.
Well, not count Rogue One.
Nope, you have to.
Really?
Okay.
It's been enough time. How many times have you seen Rogue One?
3 times.
All right, and when was the last time you watched Force Awakens?
Probably a few weeks ago.
All right, then yeah, you can make this.
Okay.
You can make this decision.
Oh shit, he is gearing up.
He wants it.
Okay. So the problem is I got to remember them all. Okay, so
it's not that hard to remember all.
Well, it is. Well, it's like Rogue One kind of just came out, and it's not like in my, you know what I mean. So it's just like
9 movies. You got to get 9.
Oh,
and I mean, I guess if it's
did I miscount?
Do you want to do this critically, or do you want to do this nostalgically, or do you want to do a mix of both?
I don't think it's nostalgically at all.
Okay.
To me,
right,
like
so critically is your ranked.
For me as a wannabe
his personal
critic,
preference.
My personal preference,
Don't say
critically. Well, let's.
No, he's thinking about it critically.
I would say 6, 5, 7, Rogue One, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, because at the end of the day, 4, as much as I love it, has a lot of little plot things here and there. The acting's inconsistent. Like, Carrie Fisher's like, I'm in England, going to school in England, and so I kind of have a British accent, and then it disappears on the next scene. And you're like, okay. You know, like, there's the joke Mark Hamill says, it's like, well, George, we just came out of the garbage compactor, our hair should be all wet. And then he's like, kid, this is not that type of movie, just shut up and shoot the scene. It's like... George doesn't care. Like, good point. But then Empire, the story actually makes more sense. And then I actually like Jedi a lot more because it completes the story of father and son. And actually, also, let's do this critically. Critically. I like Return of the Jedi as number 1 that has that no fucking goddamn scream no at the end. Because it ruins the entire visual scene that you're watching and completely steals the emotion from it. I know what he's trying to do. It's like Raimi in Spider-Man 3. Fucking emo Vader. We don't need emo Vader. We got that in episode 3. We need just fucking... Because it's really haunting how a few flats of just light going like this, when needed, when cued, and John Williams' score of just the visual of Vader's... We know exactly what he's feeling, exactly what's happening, and then as the music hits, you see Vader turn on the Emperor. And you're like, fuck. And then you add common sense into the thing. If he says no, the Emperor's going to be like, "What's that?" and start turning towards you. You're like, if you're facing that way, and I just go, "No," that means I'm coming at you. Huh? Something's happening over here. Let's turn and face it. Or he would just be like, "What's going on over there? Oh, I'm going to come at you." Right, and that, but it just completely steals the thunder of that Vader did. That no pun intended.
Thunder 'cause lightning.
Did you say 3, 2, 1?
Yeah, he said 3, 2, 1 at the end.
Oh yeah, I guess. And those movies have a lot of problems. I'm being kind. Actually, if I could lump all of them together at once, I would, but I can't because they do get better with each movie.
Let me give my unpopular opinion. I actually really like 3, but mostly because of the lightsaber battles. Because you never get that in any of the actual original trilogy. You get like little hits in this because of the time.
I will go with that too. But see, I think that George just one day just fucking changed his mind. He's like, I don't want it to be like a King Arthur sword, which is the whole point. That's why they take slow, whatever.
Well, it's
I want it to be samurai fast like ninja swords. I'm like, that completely changes 4 through 6.
I have a love-hate relationship with the 2 different lightsaber battles because it's split, but pretty.
In episode 3,
it's
right?
beautifully choreographed in episode.
Get out of here without cheese! You're a creep! Go away! We're having a good time until you start up, cheapers! Go have some coffee with cream or something! Because I'll tell you something! This is a